Hello, beautiful people. I am the Alien Cat, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're brand new here, welcome on in to my channel. For today's episode, we are going to be discussing what it's like to actually have a stammer. In short, it's exhausting. And before we get right into this episode, we are going to be going over what a stammer is. And if you already know, feel free to skip to the following timestamps, and then we'll get right into the episode. So, for those of you who don't know what a stammer is, according to Mayo Clinic here, stuttering, also called stammering or childhood onset fluency disorder, is a speech disorder that involves frequent and significant problems with normal fluency and flow of speech. People who stutter know what they want to say, but have difficulty saying it. For example, they may repeat or prolong a word, a syllable, or a consonant or vowel sound. Or they may pause during speech because they've reached a problematic word or sound. I've said this before, I will say it again. I do believe that Mayo Clinic has the most accurate definition of it because it really covers a lot of it. And now it's time for our usual disclaimer. Disclaimer, everybody, I am not a professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a speech therapist either. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. I am just here as a person who has a stammer, and I'm here to share my story and my experiences, and to hopefully connect with people who have either had a stammer in their past or who currently have it, or if somebody who knows is somebody who has a stammer, and just to spread awareness, basically. Alrighty, so let's get right into this episode. So as I jokingly said at the beginning of the episode, that having a stammer is exhausting, and that really is the gist of it. It's exhausting in so many ways. It's exhausting physically, it's exhausting mentally as well. For example, when I speak, so you notice the bumps as well when I have a stammer. So the more bumps I have, the more difficult it can be for me to be able to speak, and it causes extra strain on my voice as well. Meaning, the more bumps I have, the more of a strain it's gonna have on my voice. And it kind of makes me more aware that I'm stuck. Also, like, the more bumps I have, the more hyper aware I get, even though I'm already pretty too aware over my stammer, as in, like, I'm hyper aware. I tend to focus on it, I think, a little bit too much. That's a thing that I have to deal with. Now, I mentioned about it being exhausting also mentally. So what can happen is that I can have what I prefer to call bad stammer days, where basically during those days I have many more bumps in between words, between vowels and sounds, and they can increase depending on stress and how I'm doing mentally. Also, if I'm not in a very good mental place, I can stammer more. But from what I've seen, from my experience and from me having to deal with it, for the most part, bad stammer days can be fairly random to me. Like, I can have days where I feel fine, I'm good, I'm not too tired if physically and mentally I'm doing fine, and yet I'll still have a bad stammer day. So go figure. I don't know. I have had points also where I've had such bad stammer days where I just don't even feel like talking at all. And it's frustrating as well. Now, given my line of work, I live stream on Twitch, I do this. I have another YouTube channel where I do Ark Survival Evolved gameplay and tutorial videos, meaning that I talk a lot. And just in general, also, I'm a pretty chatty person, especially when I'm with people that I like or that I'm friends with or comfortable with. I'm fairly chatty. However, if a bad stammer day just happens to also fall on a day where I don't stream, I don't have to record a video for YouTube or for TikTok or like whatever, then it's fine, because then either I work on other things, like I work on my I work on my Etsy shop, where I just draw or something. I work on other things where I don't need to talk, or I edit as well. So when that happens, it's like, all right, fair. I didn't need to talk too much during that day anyway, so it's fine. But it can be more exhausting if a bad Stammer day happens to fall on a day where I live stream, or where I have to do this, or when, you know, it can just make it more exhausting for me, and just lower my energy. But yeah, a quick back to the if I have a bad Stammer day, also on a day where I don't have to talk much, it can make it at least a bit easier for me to deal with, because then I don't have the built up of the frustration as much, you know, regarding that I have so many bumps, I can't, you know, it's just a lot. Now you might be wondering, okay, so you have a bad Stammer day, how do you cope? How do you deal with it? How do you overcome it? I don't. Not really. I mean, there are some things that I try to do to at least lessen the strain on my voice a bit. I will either drink some more water, which I'm terrible for. I understand that I do not drink enough water, and that's the thing I need to work on as well. Or I will also sometimes drink some tea to kind of help with my voice. Now, it's not hot tea, it's warm tea. It's like almost lukewarm. It's like a bit more than lukewarm. It's just, it's like, it's warm. That's basically the most that I'll do, is just I'll drink a bit more. But for the most part, it just happens, you know. Even when I do drink tea and stuff, it doesn't always help. So for the next thing, having a stammer can also affect your confidence and how you speak, how you present yourself. I will also go into a lot more depth regarding the confidence. And I did actually make a video regarding how a stammer has affected my speech. And you can click the links somewhere here. I'm gonna place it if you want to go and check out that episode. But regarding confidence, so as I said before, I will go into a lot more depth about it in a different episode. But for now, you know how some people, they don't like the way that they sound when they speak, even if they don't have a stammer, they just don't like the sound of their own voice. Now, I will also say, it is very weird if you haven't heard your own voice before. If you were to hear for the first time, it sounds weird. It sounds weird. It's normal. It's a normal thing, because the way that we hear our own voice, it's not the same from when others hear our voice and how we sound on, you know, recordings and everything. I kind of got used to the sound of my own voice because I live stream, I watch my VODs, I do this and other things. So it's like, I'm already used to the sound of my own voice. Now, so kind of take that almost and apply it to your speech itself. Now, I know that it's really hard to change your voice. It's fairly impossible. However, there are ways if you want to lower your pitch. There are ways that you can kind of train your voice to do so, because it is a muscle at the end of the day. Now, of course, it's impossible to completely change your voice, but I'm just trying to use that as an example to kind of help relate it. So if you don't like the way that you sound, so having a stammer, it has that same kind of effect almost. Again, it's not accurate, I know. I'm just trying to help, you know, connect some bridges here. So when you have a stammer, and if you yourself are not fairly confident in either what you're saying or how you sound, it can have an impact on that. Even if you are actually fairly confident in yourself, it can still have a bit of an impact. Like sometimes you might choose to not say that one small thing that might help convince somebody of your point that you're trying to get across, if you are in the middle of an argument with somebody. So you may choose to not say that specific thing because it's hard. It's physically hard for you to say it. That is just one example of so many others. But that's the main idea. I really do hope that it's clear enough. And like I said a few times already, I will go into a lot more depth. So up until then, if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. Now, in correlation to that, there are also many tools out there that can also help not really get rid of my stammer, because there is no cure to a stammer. You just learn tools to help overcome it and to deal with it. I know that there are tools out there, especially if I don't really like it, because I don't like my stammer. I'll be completely honest. I'm used to it, but I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. I am aware that there are tools that can help me to overcome it. I've been to speech therapy multiple times, actually 3. I will also make a dedicated episode regarding the speech therapist that I had. And one of them actually did help me. There was a time when I was like really on it. So there was a time where I didn't stammer. But the reason why it came back is because I'm lazy, okay? I will also say, on a slightly more a positive note, well, this can either be a positive thing or a negative thing, depending on how you take it. Having a stammer, it definitely makes you stand out from the crowd, because there aren't many people in the world who do have this. And here's just a little a fun fact also. I live in Israel, and currently 1% of the population in Israel has a stammer. So I'm part of the 1% in Israel, if not less actually, who has a stammer. So it does make me stand out from the crowd, and in a sense also it has warped me as a person. I do feel like if I didn't have a stammer, I would like to feel that I would still be as compassionate as I am, but it's humbled me more, because I really do feel that if I did not have a stammer, I would be much more chatty, much more, which is fine. I don't always have to be, this extroverted, super chatty person, which I'm not anyway. I am an introvert. I like my own space. I love hanging out with my friends, of course, but I do also like my own space. I also wanted to say, take this little thing from me for those of you who don't have a speech impediment. Don't take your voice for granted. Appreciate it. Appreciate that you can say what you want to say without having to worry about bumps. And for those of you who do have a stammer, I feel you. I hear you. I get it. You got this. That's all I want to say. You're doing great. So yeah, I think that is going to be a wrap for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos every week. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Just keep it civil, please. I'm watching you. I'm watching. If you yourself have a stammer, or had one in the past, or know is somebody who has a stammer, and if you're comfortable enough, please feel free to share your story and bring in your own input and experiences. I would love to hear all about it. If you would like to see any more content, I will link all of my socials down in the description box. Until next time.